The space you're in is probably the macro-micro issue. So it's macro patience, micro speed, right? You need to be patient as fuck. What do you think's gonna happen overnight? So you need to be fast, 7 a.m. to 2 in the morning every day. But in the big picture, you need to realize nothing good is gonna happen for the next 6 years. You should taste flirting with a lot of different things because you'll be crippled by the what if you don't. Even though that's not the perfect formula to build the biggest short-term wealth, because you should go triple down on one thing instead of being half pregnant on 9. Like, are you trying to prove to yourself, to your siblings, to your parents, to the world? Like, who are you trying to prove that you're successful to or you're gonna make it? Like, that's what you have to figure out. What are you impatient for? Like, what's the problem? You wanna buy a fucking Rolex? What's the rush? Every second you spend thinking about what somebody else has is taking away from time that you could create something for yourself. You're losing. You're losing because you're laying in your bed looking at somebody's fucking glamorous photoshopped picture of them doing something cool, and you're envious and you're jealous and you're impatient, and it's crippling your upside. You haven't done shit. So go do shit that actually gets you there so that you earn it instead of like you dwelling that you're not there and hoping something's gonna happen. You've got to deploy patience and you've got to love the process. I'm addicted to the process of the battle scars, the setbacks. I gave up my entire 20s, all of them. Imagine not doing anything fun or going anywhere for the next 8 years, including Saturday and Sunday. That's what I did from 22 to 30. Every day I spent 15 hours a day in a liquor store, thought about a liquor store, built a liquor store, sold wine, like spent every day. That's the punchline, right? You spent more downtime on not your career this weekend than I did in my entire 20s combined. If you really want to win and you want to come to New York in 8 years and shake my hand, here's what you need to do. You need to stop giving a shit about what anybody else has and realize that if you put your head down and just work for the next 10 years, no glamour, no new fucking car, suitcase, jewelry, trip, event, no Coachella, no fucking new fucking sneakers, like fucking work, you will have it. And every time you care about one of the things I just mentioned, it will slow down your process of having it. That's how this works. Being a millionaire at 25 when you're 22 and you're at dick shit and haven't even started is inconceivable unless you fucking hit the lotto. You know how everybody says, Gary Vee, when are you gonna buy the jets in 2 years? And then I reply 20 years? I'm romantic about the journey and the process, which is why I'm actually gonna pull it off. You're trying to be a millionaire by 25. How? It's an arbitrary bullshit thing that means nothing. Wouldn't you rather guarantee millionaireship by 36 than by doing long-term marathon running versus doing a bunch of bullshit sprints that guarantees never having it? I want to buy the New York Jets, but when I clarify it to everybody, I want the process of trying to buy the New York Jets more than buying the New York Jets. You have to understand, I don't give a fuck about the end goal. I care about the process, the enjoyment of doing it. You're not enjoying yourself trying to get to $1 million over the next 3 years. So you're playing a fake narrative instead of putting in the actual work that's needed to actually pull it off. Wishing instead of executing. And then what's happening is you're living a fake world to yourself, but you know it, which then changes your behavior in the way that you interact with others. Like, for all my bravado now, I was real quiet in my 20s. People made fun of me, like, you work in your dad's liquor store? I'm in Wall Street making 100,000, I got a BMW. I'm like, that's nice, Pat. Do you understand the level of disrespect I have for Pat? Do you understand the level of disrespect I have for all those 20, 30, 40, 50-year-olds flashing shit on fucking Instagram with short-term moves? I can't wait for the fucking world to melt. I can't wait for all these bullshit people to get fucking hosed out when the economy gets shit. Meanwhile, you're admiring the fuck out of them. You need to start fucking loving the process and the work and the grind. You need to start respecting people that are like sleeping with 4 roommates and buying their t-shirts at Walmart. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hold yourself accountable to arbitrary bullshit fantasies. Just put in work and enjoy that. Enjoy eating shit and dirt and bleeding and the grind, and don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, why you haven't done it, why are you doing that. Have 4 jobs, fucking Wendy's, Walmart, your side hustle. Work, train, learn. Don't think you're a digital expert just because you're 22 and you have an Instagram account. Show me how much fucking shit you've sold with your digital social media skills. You and 99% of the people that are watching are playing the same game. You just need to understand the following. You can trick losers. You're not tricking me. You know you're not tricking yourself either. None of us are tricking ourselves. You might be able to trick your Uncle Hal, and you might be able to trick your girlfriend that was in your fucking college with you, but you're not tricking a winner when you're bullshitting. So even if you're posturing and pandering and PRing yourself, no winner thinks you're winning. Work. That's the answer to all these questions. Learn things, do stuff, try to sell shit, learn how to make money, work. I'm gonna smoke you out of your bullshit. Listen, slow and steady wins the race. You're only competing with yourself. Got it? Nobody else defines you. Not me, not everybody watching, not your mom, not the fucking Kardashians, you. You can grind and be patient for 10 years every day and still be 9 years younger than me, and I would trade places with you. That's how amazing having time on your side is. Because I think one of the things that really works for me is I'm not worried about the micro, but I think about the macro. This helps me a lot. Like, what the fuck am I doing with you right now? There's a lot more to do with the fucking showing up to the funeral than it has to do with fucking the bank account. And you know what's funny is if you actually live your life like the funeral, you end up making stuff for the bank account by accident. Like, it's so crazy when I think about like how I invested in Twitter and made all that money. It was more about giving a shit about my funeral, like doing the right thing by a bunch of people, which, you know, led to going to South by Southwest, which led to me meeting the Twitter guys. When you're thoughtful, like, I think one of the things that people like struggle with is actually being very real with themselves. You know, the difference between understanding who you are versus who you wish you were. And I think that's something that I'm always very fascinated by. Like, what kind of read do you have on yourself? I think I would struggle a lot if I didn't really genuinely know who I was. And then once you know who you are, you get more comfortable with what you're up to. I think the first best thing I can tell you is don't front. The number one mistake that people make is they try to oversell themselves because they think they need it to have people's attention. So let me give you an example. Whether it's life coach, inspirational figure, business coach, whatever form it takes, I think it's much smarter to talk to the world about your process of going through this than the advice that you think you should be giving them. That's where people are struggling. I got real lucky. I'm not sure that if the internet was around in its current form, that I would be as successful. Because at 22 and 23, I knew I was special, and I might have not been patient enough to first build a business, first get experience. I didn't start talking to the world until I was 35. And I love to say to you, be patient, to you to be patient. I'm not sure if I would have been. I'd like to think I would have been, but like I love to hear myself talk. You know, and I think anybody that aspires, like think about, so do you, and so do so many of you, like that's what it is. And it's nice, there's nothing wrong with that, it sounds bad. It's funny, a lot of what I deal with now is being okay with not being politically correct. Work-life balance, cursing, whatever, meritocracy. So I don't know if you watch some of the content that I've been building on. I'm on a hot no excuses kick. I have a lot of female entrepreneurs. I have a lot of fans that are African Americans. I spent a lot of time in that community in my college years. I just think I'm giving the best advice to women and minorities in business today, which is tough. And it's crazy, like you have to understand, in my body right now, it doesn't feel great. It feels a lot better going somewhere else. The problem is, it's the truth. Like the market just doesn't care. And what's cool is when you actually say, fuck it, then you start betting on your strengths. Do you know I was a businessman in a world where going to smart colleges was the only thing that mattered for businessmen? You were only a good businessman if you went to Harvard Business School. And then I reversed it. I'm a DNF student. I curse, I don't dress the part. I do me, and then you know what happened? The world came to me. And so I would tell you that the best thing that you're gonna walk out of here with is something that took me a long time to really realize, is if you wanna pull this off and you want people listening to you, there's only one thing, the truth. Everybody says that fucking cliche term. It's unbelievable how much that's the reason I'm winning. And I think it's easier when you have a level of success, and it's harder when you're climbing up the ladder. But I think that there's a lot of people who, if they talked about the journey of the climb, could win. I think it's the best piece of advice I can give right now to a bunch of 20 to 30-year-olds that feel that they should be talking to the world and bringing value. Talk about your journey of trying to find that voice and synthesize it properly. Because the problem is, a 30, 40, 50-year-old listening to your 1-minute rant video on Instagram, even if it's powerful, there's a level of cynicism of like, what do you know? And I think that that's fair. And look, you could just be a whiz kid about the world, and that exists. But I do think there's a smarter way to context it. You know, it's like starting the sentence of you should versus, you know, it's funny, right now I can say you should because I built so much. But if I was at 20, it'd need to be like, my intuition says, and that changes everything. Or when I look at, or when I met with Gary today, the takeaway I got was, got it? Everybody says to me, Gary, I can't find money. And then I go, cool, I'll give you money. What do you got? And then they don't know. Tell me, what am I buying? Your brand? What, in perpetuity? So the biggest problem right now is finding money is not the problem. Really, it's not. It's not. It's how you're looking at the world. And there's things like AngelList and Kickstarter. Do you know how much harder it was for your mother to get money? Do you know that the 1973 version of you would punch you in your fucking mouth? Because money is the last thing you have to worry about. AngelList, Kickstarter. You start a Kickstarter? Can. You know why most of them fail? Because Because most shit is whack. Because most stuff isn't good. Because most people don't give a fuck. You can go to AngelList and hit up all the angel investors. Got it? We're living through a really interesting time in the world right now where art and science and business are colliding, and they're all very different. I understand the art that's in your heart. See, I got lucky. I had the art and the business. But like, okay, what am I buying? But if I said to you, cool, I got money for you, what are you selling me? Like, what's the business? What's the container I'm putting my money in? You could have unlimited content. You could have 4,000 episodes of a podcast and the greatest Instagram account I've ever seen and the funniest Snapchat and Instagram stories I've ever seen. Great. That lets them know a little bit about you, but what's the vessel? What am I investing in? Oh, you're making a rosé? Oh, I can put $25,000 into that and own 8%? Now you've given me something to put the container in. If you want to become BuzzFeed, you're gonna build a website and have traffic and sell ads, you gotta come to me and say, what am I investing in? You have to put your thing into a container that's investable. Nobody's writing a check to a person. Package it. And then it gets hard because once you package it, you have to be able to explain it in business terms. And that's not necessarily what everybody does. This is where it gets into partnerships. I think what I'm good at is building a pillar up top that creates content below. Daily V, Ask Gary V show, right? And then all flows from there. Where did this quote come from? I don't know. You know, like somewhere along the way, that's what's powerful. And I think one thing that people struggle with is it needs to come from them and it needs to come from the structure down. Got it? You know how hard it is to manifest that kind of original creative thing from the bottom? You know why podcasts have worked for a lot of people? Because they interview people. So they don't have to do the work. That's why when everybody's like, oh, I love this podcast, oh, Gary Vee, and I'm like, you don't get it. They're just interviewing people. I'm creating original from the get. My version of that was, what's a better version of that? Oh, answer people's questions. Also scalable, but brings value to those individuals and the entire community. Got it? For those that have gone through this video, I would really love a detailed comment on the #1 takeaway from this video. There's something here that I really want to continue to expand on that I think is going to really bring value and help people that are in a rut really win. So please, in-depth comment on the one thing that you really took away from this video.